Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight? A couple minutes late. My camera just fell down from above there, but first order of business, can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments section if you can see me, if you can hear me. Give me one moment while I stand up on a milk crate and put this thing back up. It just fell down on me. Because I've got to adjust things ever so slightly. All right. Okay. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me check the chat here and see. Let's see. We've got Stephen Haynes, welcome. We've got Shark, hello, Andrew, and everyone else in the chat. Let's see. We've got Darth Trent here. We've got Keith here. We've got, let's see, who else do we have? Everybody's saying hello to everybody else. And Shark says, yes, we can hear you and we can see you. Perfect. You're good, Andrew. Perfect. We see and hear you. Awesome. All right. That is good because things are a little bit out of sorts here in the shop because I decided to completely reorganize the shop. So hopefully you're not able to tell a whole lot right now with how things are, but literally everything has shifted in the shop. Now, I do still have my YouTube background behind me, but that's on a completely different wall now. The idea is that I've got all this space in behind me now that I've got available to work. And I can even bring the workbench out more easily and get to the other side of it to get work done. So there's going to be some wibbly wobbly time you want me switching things around a little bit. This desk here is probably not going to stay there. But there is only so much time for me to get things up and running in time for the live stream tonight. I'm thinking that the bench needs to go a little bit further that way for the live stream kind of setup. But we will get things going pretty much exactly the way we want them here in a little bit. All right, what are we doing tonight? Well, first of all, the main reason for switching things around was so that I have more desk space to use, and that camera still really needs to be adjusted. So again, bear with me because I've never had this set up here before. But I needed more real estate on the desk to get work done. And I can probably, let me see what I can do here. I can bring this in ever so slightly. And I've got a big metal shelf in the shop. And what I've done is I've offloaded everything off my desk onto the metal shelf. So the computer is now on the metal shelf so that I don't have to, so I don't have to deal with, sorry, trying to fix the bars above and below on my face cam here. Yeah, so I have created more desk space by removing the computer stuff off of this desk. But in order to do that, because I didn't have enough depth sideways here in the shop, what I ended up doing was flipping everything 90 degrees. So the bench is now up against the garage door, and flip-flop things around. I don't quite have all the lighting switched around yet, but we will get there. Let's see. Shark says, so now you have enough space for another 650 Enterprise D. Yeah, well, I've got that back there, but I've also got the one that we're going to be continuing to build. So yeah, it's hard to get everything on the desk if there's not enough desk space to work with. And with the depth, let me switch back here again. With the depth of this, I was losing a chunk of workspace by having my computer set up here. So now I've got the full desk space to work with, and all of the computer stuff, you can see monitor there, there's a monitor there, there's a laptop there. All of that's been moved onto the shelf. It was a little tricky getting the face cam behind there. The tripod's kind of worked through the metal shelving, through the shelving stuff here. The legs are running through it, but we've got it pretty much set up. We've got Blair here in the chat. Hello, Blair. How are you doing tonight? Everybody's saying hello to Blair. Awesome. All right, let's get something on the desk. Oh, and of course, I have my tea, Earl Grey, hot. Also, I should probably just leave a little note in the HTM chat that I am live. So the all the HTMI guys know. One moment, please. It was a rush. It was a genuine rush to get up and running for the live stream tonight. And really, things might look... I thought I could just control V, what I had posted on Facebook, but I forgot that I had restarted my computer. So we'll do this piecemeal here. And actually, I can probably get it from here. Yeah, and ads playing. Let's copy the URL. There we go. Hopefully, yep, there we go. It's in the thingamadoohickey in the Discord chat now. All right. Okay. I can toss my keyboard up here and let's move. Let's move this thing in. And hopefully you can see a little bit more what's going on with it now that we've got the little bit of extra desk room. So we have the back end attached to the lower secondary hull. We also have all of this attached to the armature. And I had just epoxied these LEDs onto the armature. And what we're going to be doing tonight, I'm going to get the solder iron station up and running here. Hopefully, I've got her. No, I don't have it plugged in. Give me one moment. Again, not quite everything is set up perfectly here yet. It is a work in progress, getting everything set back up. And we've got power. Awesome. Give that a shot of water. And we're going to get everything. Oh, I might have to reposition my carpet here. I'm going to do that because if I don't, then I'm going to fall flat on my face here with my chair. I think I put the carpet the wrong way around. So I do apologize. There will likely be a few of these workspace adjustments during the stream tonight. as I said, this was all pulled apart just earlier today. Okay. Let's see. That other guy's model looks like it's coming along. Yeah. Well, they're literally, Blair, they're still client agnostic. I want to try to get as much of this built as possible because my family is going away. My wife and I split holiday time over the summer to facilitate childcare. And so my wife is taking a week off in a couple weeks, and she is taking the kids to the in-laws, to her parents' place, and I am remaining here working. But what that means is that I have a whole week of being able to be in the shop in the evenings. So I still have to work, but I've got a whole week of nights where I can come home from work, and I can grab a bite to eat, and I can come right into the shop. So I'm hoping to get a whole pile of work done. So if I can get this one built and I can get it painted, we'll get the decals on both of them. We'll get the final details on both of them, and we'll have two really cool Enterprise Ds done that will be able to be picked up. And I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to take some video footage of both of them together. That would be really nice. There we go. So really, it doesn't matter which one is which. Literally, it won't matter until the decals go down. All right. Nacelles are all wired up. They're wired up to the back end here. So tonight we're going to connect everything together in the secondary hull and basically get it to the point where it's ready. We're going to get it to the point where it's ready for the top piece to go on. And then once the top piece is on, we'll need to align the armature for the saucer, and then we'll be installing the saucer. So this should come together fairly quickly here. Let's see. So I apologize if I don't get this pronunciation correct. Guilherme Santos, good evening. Best regards from Rio de Janeiro, sorry. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you. Everybody's saying hello. Blair says, I just, of course, getting excited, obviously. And Blair says, good turnout tonight, considering long weekend. Yeah. I don't know if it's a long weekend for the Americans or not, but it's a long weekend. Well, not a true long weekend for Canadians because we do have to go to work on Monday. Well, I don't, but most people have to go to work on Monday, and then they get Tuesday off because Tuesday is Canada Day. All right. And then let's see, Guilherme. I don't know how to pronounce it. You'll have to correct my pronunciation, but Guilherme Santos is saying thank you to everybody and says that he is Brazilian. Well, welcome. And Keith says we have a long weekend next weekend for the 4th of July. Yeah, so I guess you would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4th falls on the Friday. So I guess you guys would have a long weekend next weekend. That's cool. Yeah, we don't recognize the 4th up here. It's just a regular old Friday for us. Just gonna get a tea refill. None of the regular producers on tonight. I'm going to have to hold down the fort all by myself. And Gwilherm says, love studio models. Yeah, well, this is not a studio model, but... oh, okay. William. Okay, I will try to remember just to call you William. I might forget, but I will do my best. William. It's not spelling for William, but we'll go with it. All right. Okay. The solder station is warming up. Well, it's warmed up by now. And part of this is just going to be sorting through what is going on here. Now, there's something I need to do before I do this. I almost forgot. So I'm going to put this aside. Also, leaving comments up on the screen is a service I provide. Yeah. There is something else I almost forgot, and hopefully I can find it. It's over here. Finding things is going to be a bit tricky. I have a 6 LED length that needs to be wired up. A little bit of a story behind this one. So I went to test it yesterday, this morning, maybe this morning. Anyway, I went to test it at some point. Maybe it was yesterday afternoon, late afternoon before the HTM stream. Whatever. But I was just short a 6 LED length of LED strip. And so I grabbed this one. I knew I had some spare. And so I went to plug it in with the connector here just to test run it. And I couldn't get anything. Couldn't get any light out of the thing. And I was thinking, okay, is my setup not right? Do I have something done up wrong here? Turns out this is the end of the roll. And it's the end of the roll, not the beginning of the roll. And so everything goes this direction. And I was trying to plug it in here. That's why it wasn't working. So we need to get some wires connected onto this. I need to find my Omni Thingamajoohickey because it's got to be around here somewhere. I will need that. But we're going to get that wired up. We're going to desolder the ground and the positive from the outgoing end because we don't need to run power to anything else from there. But we will keep the data that's already attached to the LED strip attached. So it might take me just a wee little bit to find everything I need. I need a pair of wire cutters, and they must be around here somewhere. Hopefully they're around here somewhere. They're not where they are meant to be. This could be tricky. I do have a box of things. Oh, it's in the box of things I took off the desk before live stream. The desk was completely covered because I was just moving things around. And I just put everything that was on the box. Just get rid of that connector. Toss that in the trash. Everything that was just randomly on the desk, I just kind of shoved in a box to get the live stream going because I need to get my desk cleared off. All right, Omni Thingamadoohickeys, where are you? Omni Thingamadoohickeys, where are you? You've got some work to do now. This is going to be the problem tonight. Finding things. I need my Omni Thingamabobbies. Omni Thingamajiggies. Where are you? Okay, this could be a hassle if I cannot find them. So I do apologize that there's nothing to see on camera, but I am literally checking out every surface that I could have stashed things on in my shop to see where they could possibly be. This is where having a producer would mean that they could take the chat while I searched for my Omnis. Okay, where are they? Oh, I see them. Literally the only clean part of the shop, or tidy, or apparently tidy part of the shop right now, is the part that you can see on camera. Okay, Omni thingamadoohickeys. I can no longer do my soldering work without Omni thingamadoohickeys. They are a requirement. Now these are the they came off easier than I thought. Sometimes I find that these like factory soldered wires need a wee bit more heat than I typically like to use on my solder wand. Not sure why. Just the type of solder they use, I suppose. Just move that a little bit closer. Whoa! I just saw a flash of red. We have Dash here, and Dash just dashed a $50 Dash. And he says it's over there. Well, welcome, Dash, to the stream. Welcome, Howard. Again, thank you. Totally unnecessary. Always appreciated, but completely and totally unnecessary. But thank you so much for that $50 dashification. Let's see. Did I miss anything after I saw that splash of red go on my screen? Let's see. Keith says, would you like me to jump on and produce for? If you would like to, that would be awesome. You're more than welcome to. And Shark says, hello, Howard. And Dash says, do it, Keith. And everybody's saying hi to Dash. Make sure that you guys show Dash some love, because he's always showing us love here on not just on my channel, but on all of the HTM guys. I am actually going to desolder this data cable as well, because I'm going to want to put a longer wire on that. And I am leaving chats up on the screen that I don't need to be leaving up there. But there we go. All right, let's get the other side of this pre-soldered, and then we will get some wires connected. And I'll need to find my wiring, because I'm not sure where I stashed everything today. So there we go. A little bit of pre-solder on there. All right, if I was green, black, and red wire, where would I have been stashed during this whole process? Green, red, and black. Got it. I'm also going to need some red and black lead power wire, so I'll get that out there. Look at this. I've got all this desk space. It's amazing. Alex here. Welcome, Alec. He says, hey, Andrew, hopping on at work. Imagine that. I know. With literally 3 to 4 hours sleep in me and only about a box of Reese's Pieces in my stomach. If you're going to do that, you should just get the Reese's Pieces. I mean, the Reese's peanut butter cups that have the Reese's Pieces inside them. That way you get the bonus of the Reese's peanut butter cup as well. That's a pro move there. But welcome to the stream. I hope that the rest of your shift goes nice and easily, and you're able to get home in a decent time. All right, everybody saying hi to Alec. Here we go. All right. Now, Let me just think this through. Welcome, Keith. Oh, we'll just wait for him to actually get in here because I heard the beep, beep, beep. There we go. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about yourself, Andrew?
I'm doing well. Thanks for hopping on and helping out.
You are
Even
quite
having
well.
somebody just to talk back and forth with makes a huge world of difference. So just responding to a hold on. Just responding to a message from Blair. Nothing since they assured me that the and I'll send them what they sent me, but let me try that again. I will send you what they sent me, but it's through Facebook Messenger. But they assured me that they have your order and that it will be all processed properly and that it will get to me. It just takes a fair bit of time because they're dealing with a factory in China and they're kind of at the mercy of how quickly the factory in China gets through stuff. So just to quickly answer your question there, Dash says, you got all these pieces of Starship together. It's making for more room. I'm needing more room. I'm needing a lot more room. That's the situation there. And Alex says to you, Keith, and I hope I don't fall asleep on my, he says, hi, Keith, and I hope I don't fall asleep on my bike heading home again. I literally did that once and fell off when I hit a curb. Yeah. No, don't sleep and drive. Number one rule.
And hi, Alec.
Don't sleep and drive. Todd's here. Welcome, Todd. And Blair just, I'm assuming, responding to my my comment there. So, all right. Yeah, I was just saying it's great just to have somebody be able to talk off of.
Yes, exactly. I understand that completely.
So and what are you?
Tomorrow I am getting a set of CM28 Pros.
Sorry, you're getting what?
The CM28 Pro Newers. The mics.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was about to. I was thinking you were talking about a model, and I was about to say you will have to forgive my ignorance, but I'm not sure what model that was. But no, microphones. Got it.
No, the mics. This gaming headset seems to cause issues with my mic.
Yeah. Which mics are you getting?
The Newer CM28 Pros. I think that's what you got. From Todd.
Yeah, that's what's here. Hopefully it sounds okay.
Yes, they do.
All right. I am just working out what I'm going to need to run here as far as a data line for this stretch. So the way the LEDs are set up in the lighting system, and I'm not going to change the lighting system because I've got it all already worked out. I need to, let's see, data is coming out of this, let me just see if I can tip this here for you to see, for all of you to see. But there is, you can probably see it on the face cam. There's a LED strip there on the bottom of this post. So that's helping with some of the neck windows. The data line is going to come out the bottom of that and run up. I actually probably should have made this data line a little bit longer here. That's going to run up the neck. I'm gonna have to extend it because I'm going to need some more. It's going to run back up the neck, and it is going to connect to the impulse engine. I should probably pull up my spreadsheet so I know what I'm talking about.
So do you have all the wiring, what you did on the one you did for Blair, all mapped out so you can follow it?
I have it all set up here. In fact, I can just actually throw it up on the screen here. So I have all of the LEDs, and you can see that it goes up to I've got 573 LEDs, not counting the navigation light. So just in the addressable LEDs, I've got 573 LEDs in here.
Wow.
So that's why it's important to keep track of all of them here.
Yep.
So and they're in order of how the data line has to run through. So basically what happens here, and I can I'll throw this up here in the corner so you can see. Actually, I'm going to need to.
Well, Dennis C is here. He just jumped on and says he got a laser projector. Now he can watch you on a 120-inch screen.
Laser projectors are pretty cool, and they don't require long startup and cooldown sequences, which is nice. So welcome to the screen. Yes, welcome to the screen, Dennis. Nice to have you here. So I've just changed the size of this so that you can see it around my picture in picture. So essentially what's going on here is this column is what the actual LED address is in the software, because 1 through 4 are taken up by the expansion board. So, but this is the number of LEDs, and they're in order of how the data line goes. So the data line comes up the post, it goes up the port nacelle, it does the chiller grills, then it does the Buzzard, then it goes back down across, and actually you can see the green wire going down, back up to this nacelle. It does the starboard chiller, the starboard Buzzards, comes back down here, and then it comes out this wire here. It does the windows for the bottom of the secondary hull. And then it does the first LED on this strip is for the photon launcher. That will get a fiber line running to the back for the photon. And then it does all of the windows up and bottom, and the bottom one down here. No, the top one down up underneath goes to the front photon. From there, let's see, it runs to the impulse engine. And so what I have to do with this is, in order to connect the impulse engines and the deflector dish to all of this, the only way I can do that is once the top piece is on. So I have to run those lines up to the top of the neck so I can attach them up here. So I'm definitely going to need to extend the length of this wire here, but that also reminds me that both data lines I have to run on this LED strip, and I can get rid of the spreadsheet now. Let me do that, and let me do, my face cam disappeared on me.
Oh, yeah. Alex says he's on his break and has about just under 3 hours left to go at his work. Howard has a question. So are you saying all the LEDs are in a complete strip or just the data line?
Just the data line is in a strip. So the power is running separate to all of the strips of LEDs, but the data line has to go, the way it works, the data line has to go from one to the next, the next, the next, and run basically a chain all the way through the model, so that it can address every LED as if it's in one big long LED strip.
Blair says he's grabbing some dinner. He'll be back.
All right. And I know why
Steve
my
Martin.
camera keeps turning off on me.
And Steve Martin says, hey, guys, hi from camping in northern Michigan.
Oh, that's very nice. I hope that you have a great camping time, a great time out camping. That's a better way to say it. With everything with the new setup, I totally forgot to plug in the camera, so it was running on the small bit of battery reserve it had. Much better when streaming with it to be plugged in. So, all right.
Might last just a little bit longer that way.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So I'm going to run. It'll be the blah. Can't talk. The LED will be positioned roughly around there, where we're going to want a line that'll go all the way up here. And we're going to want that 2 times over. So we'll just chop this up.
So it looks like you're using green to identify your data line.
I am. Yep, green for the data, red for positive, black for negative, blue and white for the flashers, brown and orange for constant on nav lights. Just so I keep everything straight in my head as we get going on this. All right. I'm going to put this thing aside here.
Howard says that saucer section is looking a bit thin. You better feed it some dilithium crystals.
I can never find the end of the wire on the red wire here. There it is.
It just likes to hide from you.
Well, it's every other roll of this wire. The wire does not naturally hold to the spool. The red just holds perfectly to the spool, which is great because it means that it's not going all over the place. But it just makes it hard to find the end of the wire once when it's on the spool.
So what gauge or type of wire are you using?
So I'm using 30 gauge wire wrapping wire for this stuff. And I am missing the LED.
It had fallen in your lap.
No, it's actually still sitting on the model. There we go.
Steven says it's nice to be able to take some technology with you out in the bush.
Yeah, and the fact that we've just got the ability to have that connection with it, right? You're never super isolated. Sure makes it a lot safer today than it ever used to be.
Very true. How was your son's baseball game today?
Soccer.
Oh, soccer? Sorry. I thought you had said baseball last night for some reason.
Yeah, soccer, football, non-American style football. They don't really play games yet. It's basically learning skills and stuff like that. But then they do little like 3-on-3 scrimmages at the end. But they're really just learning the basics. But he's doing well with it.
Time.
Yeah, he's kind of got the whole dribbling thing down.
Good.
Running with the ball, keeping it under control, so that's good. And he's like smack dab in the middle age-wise of the group.
Howard says, why don't you get a paper towel holder and put them on it to hang all your wire on? So take your wire spools and hang them from a paper towel holder.
Yeah, I could do that. Do I want to do that? I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that one. Because then I'd have to like pull it from a location.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, if you got the room to do it, and it's not something that would be could do it out of the way, but still within reach.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only one that gives me grief is the red.
Yeah, the paper towel holder, I don't think would solve that problem.
Actually, it might make it more difficult because I'd have to get even closer to it to, like, I have to get right up to the paper towel dispenser to, or the paper towel roll to find the end on it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not a bad idea.
No, actually, it is a good idea. Ricardo says seeing little kids playing soccer is hilarious. They're super funny at it.
It is. It's just like a swarm of bees chasing the ball.
Yeah. Well, you know where the ball is. Just look for the hive of kids.
Yeah. Very true. All right. So these are wired up, but this needs to have a burn-in period, and I need to figure out where I put my little pins. Oh, found them. Just had them stored off camera.
Bang! I think that's how you pronounce that. Says the funniest Pee Wee League is hockey.
Yeah.
So I think
anything
that's the
where
first I've seen Yvang in here. So
yeah, I just say Yvang. Tweezers. Where are my tweezers? Oh, I think they're all actually put away. The biggest problem with reorganizing the shop is then I don't know where anything is.
I know that feeling.
I am just attaching some pins to the end of these wires because the 30 gauge wire wrapping wire is so thin it doesn't really like to go into the the breadboard very well. So I just add a pin on the end to make it to facilitate going into the breadboard, because these lights are going to need to be burned in for a bit before they go into the model.
How long do you typically let your LEDs burn in?
I mean, certainly overnight, 24 hours is ideal. I just like to make sure that if I get a bad LED, that it has time to show itself.
Yeah, with that number of LEDs you got going in.
Well, last thing I ever want is for it to get all the way to the client's house and something goes wrong with it, right?
Exactly.
So I will do everything within my power to make sure that it will last for a very long time.
Yang says I did say it correct, and he took it from the IKS Yavang Klingon ship Worf's son served on.
Okay. I think I remember you mentioning that, Yvang, at some point, but I think it's been a while. So the refresher is always nice. And then Keith hasn't heard that before, so.
No, I have not. Not a big Star Trek fan, but I am delving into building my first sci-fi model. And Ricardo says, that's a great idea, Andrew. I guess I'll start doing that with my LEDs.
Yeah, burning them in. Generally, if you're going to get a bad LED, it's going to go bad pretty, within that 24-hour time period. So it just saves you a lot of headaches down the road of having an LED that's not good and not realizing until it's secured inside the model. And then you've got to perform surgery to get at it.
Yep. And Alec wants to go home already. He says he's hungry.
Uh-huh.
And Howard says, something to remember when doing your Chronos, directed at me. Yes, Howard, that is a very good tip. There's going to be a lot of lights in that and my first time putting lights in a model as well.
Okay, I have it's all the way over here. Off camera where you can't see it.
Ricardo says, I guess I've been lucky so far with the LEDs, but we all know about Murphy's Law.
Yep.
And Yavang has a question. Have you ever had to take a model apart to fix an LED?
I've had to repair LEDs I've installed, but before the projects have been completed. So back when I was doing my first Enterprise E and I was using the Lieutenant Control board for it, I had put the 3 LED cluster into the Buzzard, and I assumed, because other LEDs were resistored on the board, that those LEDs were also resistored on the board. They were not. So I threw power on and got the blue smoke. So I had to go back in and extract those LEDs and create my own replacement cluster of 3 LEDs, resistored them, and went from there. So it wasn't too bad because the whole model wasn't closed up, but I had to pop open the nacelle, which was not fun. All right, I'm going to give this thing some juice. See if there's a little... Yeah, there's a little red light on inside. I'm going to have to grab the... Oh, that was weird. Everything went black on the screen for a moment. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just double checking because my screen blacked out on StreamYard.
Oh.
Yeah. So just wanted to make sure everything was still good. We're going to log into the Raspberry Pi. And I want to test these as white. So I'm going to create a new test group. Let's grab this. Suppose you might want to see
Yvang
what I'm...
says, Yvang says, I think I would just add some battle damage and call it done. We've lost power, Captain.
All right, so I'm just in the user interface for the lighting system, and I'm just creating a new LED group called Quick Test 01. Delete later, and it's gonna go LEDs 1 to 6. Save changes, and I'm going to create a new scene.
Howard says it lagged for a second.
It lagged for a second. Okay. It seemed to be when I was connecting to the Wi-Fi on the Raspberry Pi. It must have just done something a little weird. Test scene, or quick test scene. Quick test scene. Delete later. And this is just going to be... Oh, this is going to be... nope, that's the wrong thing. Quick test. So I'm choosing which LEDs. These are LEDs 1 through 6, which I labeled Quick Test 01. The effect that I'm going to apply is window main white. And let's save changes. Now I'm going to plug these in to the breadboard. And I'm going to switch back cameras so you can see that what I'm doing here.
Well, Tommy is joined. How you doing, Tommy?
Welcome, Tommy.
And Howard wants to know, are you feeding it apple or orange juice?
Oh, giving it some juice. Got it. Got it. Sorry.
I didn't catch it either, Andrew.
Took me a moment. Actually, I can just pull these wires out, the little jumpers, because these will go directly into the breadboard. Give it that juice. Pull that out. Don't need that. That was for something else.
Tommy says he's doing good.
And I need to give this thing actual electricity. Which means I have to wander through my shop looking for the wire. I think I found it. I found it. One moment, please. Please stand by. Actually, I'm just going to plug this into the wall over here.
And Stephen has a question. Can you turn on and off non-addressable or dumb LEDs with lighting system?
With the expansion board, you can. So there's basically a board that works like a driver, and it essentially pretends. Nope, I cannot plug that in there. It essentially pretends to be a addressable LED and controls. It takes the instructions from the controller and then drives power as needed to the dumb LEDs so that they function essentially like a smart LED. All right, so I've got power to these LEDs, and I'm going to run this over here near the back of the bench as much as I can, given how I'm kind of plug this into my desk. Oh, I can do that. Do this. So you can see it's blue right now because it's running the main scene. But I'm going to switch it to white in the software. There we go. And that's just going to sit there, and it's going to burn in for the next who knows how long. So that if there's any issues with those LEDs, we will know about it. So there is let me just grab the box. Essentially, you can get this little expansion board. And just like the LEDs, the smart LEDs themselves, it's got 3 pins in. So you've got your ground, positive, and data, and then it's got 3 pins out, and it basically takes up the position in the data chain of the addressable LEDs, but then you connect your standard LEDs to the board, and then it controls them just like any other addressable LED. So that's actually going to be controlling the flashers and the always-on navs, so that I can make the navs turn on in the startup routine, and I can make the flashers flash. And that's all going to happen base side, not inside the ship. So that board will be inside the ship, and they will take up the first set of LED numbers in the programming. So that's how
Howard has a question. Running it on white, is that using all the RGBs then? That strip you're using doesn't have the separate white light, is what he's asking.
Yeah, I believe these are WS. One moment, please. So these are all WS2812B LEDs, and they are RGB LEDs. They don't have the additional white, but the board can control the ones that have the 3 colors plus the separate white. But you have to use all the same type of LEDs on them. So whichever system you are running with, you got to run with that throughout the entire thing. So let's see if I can find. Yeah, here they are. So these, if you can see them on there, these are the 2020 LEDs. So your standard LED strip are 50/50s. These are 2020s. So 2mm versus the 5mm LEDs chips. And I use these on the phaser strips on the smaller ships. So on the 1400 scale, these are what is inside the phaser strips. I also use these on the chiller grills for the 1400 scale Enterprise E. That way I get 0 hotspots, because there's really nowhere to hide the LEDs. They have to go kind of in the bottom, pointing up, or on, like, it's really hard to get them onto the side. I think I might have put them on the side, but only because I'm using these really small ones. And these are WS 2812 as well. So they are the three color, not the white. So in order to be able to use these with everything else, I just go with the RGB versus the RGBW. These are super handy to have because they're so small. They really help eliminate hotspots in those tight spots.
And Jerry Warwick has joined. He says he's just going to fanboy and he loves your channel.
Well, thank you. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for watching the channel. It's much appreciated.
Steve Martin says, sweet, maybe perfect for his current project.
Remind me what your current project is. I think you've told me, but just remind me.
While we're waiting on a reply, Alan Kelly has joined. He says, good evening.
Good evening.
And Howard has another question. And how many boards can you add like those together? And is there a limit on how many you can power?
Expansion boards. I think you can daisy chain them. They just take up a spot in the chain of LEDs. So I'm pretty sure that you can daisy chain them. If you want an exact number, I would have to find that out from Andy. But I would imagine you could daisy chain as many as you want. But I would just make use. Excuse me. I would just make use of the addressable LEDs as much as you can. That would be what I would do. Well, that's what I'm doing. All right, let me swing this around this way. And we need to start running some line in. On a nice long line in. Because the less I have to extend these wires out later, the better. Make the black and the red roughly the same length here. Here we go.
Howard says he's going to have to figure out what he needs to do for his NCC XB.
For your Excelsior/B?
Yep.
XB? Xborg? I'm curious what he means by XB. And we're just going to have to wait for him to explain that further, I guess.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully, I can find my wire things. Wow, my brain is so not working tonight. The things that take the coating off of your wire.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well.
Yeah.
I think your brain fried from trying to scramble to get stuff back together so you could stream tonight.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where it is. Wire strippers. Wire strippers. Yep. Why was that so difficult to remember?
And Howard says the Excelsior.
Oh, the Excelsior. Yeah, I'm gonna be using the inner light system on the Excelsior and the B. So I'm using wire cutters to strip this because I just with the changes here today, I just don't know where my wire strippers are.
And Tommy said strippers, reference to wire strippers.
Yep.
And Alec has a couple questions. Could I use inner lights to give a dino egg incubator a mechanical look and hook up fog units to it?
And hook up fog units to it? I would imagine so. Because what, you're just powering something. Okay.
His second question was, did you sense his yawn? Because apparently he yawned and you yawned right after.
Yawns are contagious. There was a while there tonight. The kids were being kids and being a little crazy. And I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to live stream because we had the kids to deal with, and I was still trying to get this place into decent enough shape for streaming. Again, the only place in here that looks halfway decent is what you can see on camera. The rest of it is an absolute disaster.
Well, I had looked at, I think it was probably about 8:45, and I still hadn't seen the live stream up on YouTube yet.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we were going to get ready to go to bed. And about 5 minutes before that, my wife's like, Canadian Starships is on at 9. I said, he must have just put it up because I looked like 5-10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And it was not there.
Like I said, it's just been one of those days.
Yep. Well, I had read your post on Discord saying you may or may not stream tonight, depending how far along you got reorgan your work area. So I just assumed, okay, he's got nothing. He's probably not in a place where he can do this tonight.
Well, 15 minutes before the live stream, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it either.
Yeah. Ricardo says, don't worry about the mess, Andrew. We're used to seeing Ian's desk.
Well, like I said, I was able to get everything you're going to see relatively tidy. It's everything that's off cam. Because I don't have my other desks and stuff in a final place yet. So everything's just a wee bit wonky in here at the moment. And that's the technical term. Yep. And you'll notice that I am using the Omni thingamabobs on the metal armature again, which is great. Because they just...
Oh, yeah. Them being magnetic is sweet.
So what I'm doing here is I've got the main line coming in from the base for power. And I will connect everything in the lower secondary hull to where it comes in here. But I've also got another main line attached, branching off that to go up to the saucer. That'll feed all that just to share the load. So that the line going up to the saucer is pulling directly off of that main line coming in. All right, now I have the fun job of connecting all of the items that require line power to the power.
Tommy says a neat desk is the sign of a sick mind.
Really? To me, it's the sign of somebody that's in between projects and doesn't have a project on the go.
That too.
The more the way I end up working, the busier I am, the more I'm working, the messier my workspace ends up getting, because my workflow, I leave everything in process on the go, and so it just accumulates as I work.
Same here.
All right, so we've got positive line from the nacelles that needs to be connected.
Howard says Yeah, those Omnifixos, they get around.
Mm-hmm. All right. I just need to make sure everything is powered that needs to be powered. This is nacelles. This is these two strips. This is this strip. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to do this tonight. I am not going to be able to do this tonight. Because I have to wait for the LEDs that are sitting there test running. Because they need to be hooked up to main power as well. Yep. They need to be hooked up to the ODN conduits as well. So I'm going to have to put that particular thing on hold. But I can get the flasher circuits connected.
Tommy said when he was building big ships, he would end up working in a 1 foot square on his desk.
Well, that's no fun. 1 foot square?
Yeah.
That doesn't give you much space.
No, not at all.
All right. So what I can do is hook up these flasher circuits. Now, I'm pretty sure the one on the bottom is flasher.
Howard says the messier my desk is, the more I'm doing that never is finished.
Yeah, flasher. So these LEDs, these lines need to be connected with this line.
Alex saying he might have to rearrange his room for his Titanic build so it doesn't block the view of his TV. And Tommy says, no, it doesn't. And he still does it. Working in a 1 foot square.
Sorry, what was that? I missed that.
Tommy says, no, it doesn't. And I still do it. Working in that 1 foot square area.
No, it doesn't, as in it doesn't sound like fun?
Exactly.
Well, space with these large projects is always at a premium. And I'll be moving from these large projects to more large projects with a couple small ships in between. Be nice if I could find my wire strippers. I'll have to do a hunt for that tomorrow. But I can continue running the main leads in from the base. This time it is the ground for the flashers. Got all this other...
asking, how close are you to having this ship ready to do painting? End of July, question mark?
That's a good question. If everything goes well, I'm hoping to have this one closed up and ready for seam work in 2 weeks. If everything goes well. And that can be a big if.
Well, hopefully everything does go well. Definitely helps that you've been around the block once with this ship already.
Yeah, it will certainly go a lot faster the second time around because I don't have to figure things out the same way I did the first time.
Right.
I just have to remember what I did and just make sure I am taking it step by step and not making any silly mistakes. Because the silly mistakes that cost you time.
Oh, exactly. And Howard also wants to know, are you still working on the other D or is it shelved for a bit?
So the Don Shoko D is shelved at this point. I will get back to it when I've got some time to do so. But I'm booked up for the foreseeable future here, so it shall be a while. It's just a low priority at this point. So handy that these things stick to the armature.
Yes. Don't have to move too far.
What's not handy is these wires curling up on me.
Well, Kenneth has joined us from Atlanta. He's sitting
Welcome.
here watching the greatest and amazing YouTube mentor who he is looking up to, wow, inspired to be like.
Well, I appreciate that, and so do the other YouTubers too.
And Ricardo says, what is left to do on the other D?
So the Don Shoko D is in seam work phase. The back end on that thing is atrocious. The back end being the back of the pylon area, and requires a lot of seam work to get it to look right. So that's where I have left off on it. It has been left off in seam work. So it needs the rest of the seam work done. It needs obviously to be painted after that. It is primed, but it'll need another go of prime after the seam work's done, and then it'll get the full paint scheme on it. And I'll have to evaluate the decal set and see if it's up to where I would want it to be. If it is, I'll use it. If not, I'll look at other options. but that's where that's at. In fact, hold please. Please continue to stand by.
Kenneth says, wow, that's so incredible and an amazing job you're doing. He's blown away from all the incredible work you have done so far.
So this is the Don Shokodi. And there's a lot of work back here that has to be done.
Yeah, that does look like a mess.
It is a mess. It is a mess for sure. But if we take it back here, don't know if you can see the size difference.
Yeah, that's coming across. Can definitely see the difference.
Yeah. So she'll be a nice model when she's done, but she's just taken a lower priority. There are some major issues with this model. I mean, the detail is really nice, but there's some build issues with it based on how it was designed. So the client's going to get a much better build having gone with the bigger one. Just putting this one away again on the shelf. Put it away upside down. Let's put it away the right way here. The way I intended it to be. Cover it with microfiber cloth while it sits here on the shelf. It's amazing how much smaller the 1000 scale looks in comparison to the 650 scale. So that's the Shoko D. That's where it's at. Wait, what was I doing? Right. I need some shrink tube. I don't know where my random small pieces of shrink tube is, so I'm going to grab a new shrink tube.
Don't forget to flip your camera back.
Oh, right. Thank you. And flipped back. Although, is this the way it's supposed to be? I think the camera might have moved a little bit. Give me a moment. I'll move it back. Sorry for the nausea ride here. I think it's just been gradually moving over the course of the night. Like I said, I'm just getting this whole setup put together. So,
and Ricardo wants to know if you have ever tried the liquid electrical tape instead of shrink tubing.
I have not. Somebody mentioned that the other night, but no, I have not tried.
Donnie.
It was Donnie that mentioned it?
I think so.
I have not tried it. I'm not opposed to trying it, but I just haven't tried it. Go. So the flasher's in the bottom of the Ugh.
Todd says it works, but I hate the stuff. It's like black tulip. Gets everywhere and stinks like heck.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And Howard says he's mentioned it before, but it stinks like heck too.
I mean, shrink tube works well.
Yep.
And it's not messy.
I guess the liquid electrical tape would be nice if you soldered something and forgot to put your shrink tube on it.
Sorry, what was that?
I would think the liquid electrical tape would be nice if you've already soldered something and had forgot to put your shrink tube on.
Yeah, that would be handy. Like there, I forgot to put the larger piece of shrink tube. Because I've got the small piece. What's going on right now? But it doesn't fit over the resistor. So then I've got the larger piece to go over the whole thing and just finish that off.
Now I have a question for you, Andrew. Your soldering station, does that have two different temperature settings, one for the iron and one for your heat gun?
Yeah, they're controlled. They're controlled separately, so I can dial each one in as needed. Now, what I've done here is I've attached the two, like the flashers that are on the bottom secondary hull and the warp nacelles to the main lead going down the pipe. But I've also got another line coming off of it because I'm going to have more flashers that need to be connected to it. So I'll do that again for the positive side of the flashers, which is in white. We'll basically just do rinse and repeat on the positive side. Kenneth says, I'm waiting for IXO collections shipped out my Bugatti Atlantic 57 SC and the Porsche 911 spares parts before my birthday, middle of next month. Cool. All right. It was another hot day here today.
Yeah, it was hot here. I got out early this morning and mowed.
It's been cooler the last couple of days. Just a little bit of a reprieve from the heat, but then hit us again today. I don't do well in the heat. And there's a young guy down the street who's working to save up for school. He's graduating high school, going to take a year off. He wants to do policing. And so he has a little side hustle of mowing lawns during the summer. So we get him to do ours.
Well, that's nice. Good to
Saves
help
me,
out the youth.
saves me going out to the going out in the heat and not enjoying that.
It would cost me an arm and a leg to hire someone to cut 5 acres.
Five acres, that's a fair bit.
Yep, just a little bit.
I am looking for my beefier white wire. And I can't seem to find it anywhere. That's strange. Where could that have gotten to now? That's not something I'm missing because of the move. That should be in the drawer where I left it.
It's not that spool to the left of your work mat, is it? It's just behind the armature.
No, those are the, if you're referring to these ones
No,
here.
to the left of your work mat.
This one?
Yeah.
So that's
no.
the black lead wire. I've got blue 30, green 30, larger red. Should be in a bundle like this. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
not there. So I may have to, I know I had it because it's on the other model.
Kind of says it's cheaper to get the spare parts than it is buying the full kit from IXO. He says it was 88 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia today, and that he's enjoying his 4 days before he goes back to work on Tuesday afternoon.
88 degrees?
88 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, let's see. 88 F. So 31.11 degrees Celsius. All right, I'm going to use gray, light gray, instead of white. And I'll just have to remember that light gray equals white on this particular one.
Howard says that's all. He's got 40 acres of hay to cut down. And he should have had most of it done, but with his baler not working and the rain, he's not been able to do any of it.
Make hay when the sun shines. Now, are you round baling those? You know, I heard that a lot of farmers have actually gone away from using the round bales and gone back to using the square bales. They were just finding that their cows weren't getting a square meal. All right. So light gray. Everybody remind me, light gray equals white.
Ricardo said last week they had something like 45 degrees Celsius down where he's at. He goes, so he knows what it's like living in hell.
Yeah, like I said, I don't do well in the heat.
I don't do well in it anymore. I used to be all right. I used to work out in it all the time growing up. The older I get, the more I hate it.
Yeah, I seem to get sick in the heat anymore. The heat and the sun drains me of energy, and I'm just like sick for the next who knows how long. So I've got this white. I've got the 30 gauge white. I can't find any of the larger. Do you say larger gauge? The number goes up, but the number goes down, but the size goes up.
Yep.
Gauge has never made sense to me.
No. Kenneth says, I didn't know you were from Canada instead of the USA.
Who's he talking to? Can't be me. I mean, it's in the name.
I would hope it's not you. It's not me either. I am in the USA.
Although I think Ian keeps forgetting that you're American and not Canadian for some reason.
Well, Ian thinks I'm Canadian for some reason.
Yeah.
And he has 1.5 acres of grass to cut at his folks' mobile home. Howard says he wants to do both round and square, but his round baler doesn't want to hook up to basically a Raspberry Pi, so it won't communicate.
Okay.
And Kenneth says, you guys are not old, just wise and all-knowing, who I can learn from, and says we're wise.
Wise or wise guys?
It's very possible it could be both. And Howard says, yes, his cows have no square meals. And Captain Charlemagne Models is here.
Hey! Oh, I'm just realizing I forgot to put my face cam back on. There we go. Hey! Now you can see me waving.
He says, sorry, he was busy working on his 1-200 Prinz Eugene model.
Never have to apologize for working on a model.
Yes, Alec, it's Ken, Andrew, and Jody who are the Canadian members. And Dash says, if you need to remember, just paint the correct color on the end of the wire.
Yeah. Well, I think the light gray is close enough. And then I don't have any white shrink tube, so I will be putting yellow on.
Howard's talking to me. He goes, if you're in Ohio, Canada, then I'm in Canada, Michigan.
All right, I don't need the larger piece this time, I don't think. As long as the smaller fits
Kenneth is rolling on the floor laughing hysterically. And yes, he said on the floor, not in the floor.
I hope he wasn't rolling in the floor. Having an unfortunate accident like that poor engineering officer in the episode The Next Generation where they get holes throughout the ship. And the engineering officer ends up falling through the floor and then it re-solidifies while she's falling through.
Captain Charlemagne asks, what's happened so far with the build? Just been lighting?
I'm working on getting the second Enterprise D constructed, which includes the lighting. So this week I got the nacelles built, lighted and built, attached the pylons. I got the lower secondary hull attached to the armature, and then got the pylons attached to the lower secondary hull. So just working my way from the bottom up. I mean, it's going faster than the last time, but I know what I'm doing on it this time. So
Ricardo says, don't forget to smash the like button. Yes. If
yes,
you're
all
here,
those
please
YouTube things.
click the like button. And Trent is taking off. So good night, Trent.
All right, I'll have a good night. Thanks for stopping in and spending some time here. Okay, so that's the flashers in the secondary hull connected to the main line going out the base. I've got all of the data I can connected at the moment. And that's all I can do tonight until on the wiring until that other LED that's just sitting right here, the strip of LEDs, has had a chance to burn in.
We have Alan Kelly has a question for you, Andrew.
Shoot. Go for it.
Which model do you think would be easier to light? The older clear 1400 USS Enterprise D or the newer semi-opaque version? Clear one also included Aztec decals, by the way.
Yeah, the old clear, one of the old clear ones does come with the Aztec decals, which I've got here in the shop somewhere. The new repop is going to be easier to work with because it is styrene. It's not the ABS. If I am building the new repop, I am still going to open up windows. I'm not going to scrape windows. If I'm building the clear one, I'm going to mask windows, not scrape them as much as possible, although I think a bunch of the windows on the neck of the secondary hull would need to be probably scraped. There's also the third option, which is the opaque Enterprise D, the old one, right? So here is, and maybe I can digitally zoom in here a little bit. Let's see what I can do. I don't know how clear this is going to be because it's a digital zoom in the software. So this is one that's that I've been working on Windows on during downtime on other projects because this is going to be a client build once the two big Ds and the two Enterprise E's are off the bench. Then this one needs to be done. But then I am also, let me grab another kit here. One moment, please. So that is the old AMT Enterprise D kit. It's the opaque plastic. And then we've got the clear kit, which you can see clear. And I'd already started playing around with some window mask options there. And this is masks on the inside of the lower saucer here. Just some stuff I've been playing around with. This plastic is very brittle, so there's some considerations there, because you just have to keep in mind that it's quite brittle, but definitely nice for lighting. However, with it being water clear, you do really have to do your light blocking on it. And I would suggest doing the light blocking on the inside as much as you can, so that you can limit how many layers of paint are going on the outside. But really, it's personal preference on what you like. I'm using this opaque kit because I'm opening up the windows anyway. And if I was doing the milky white translucent plastic, it's styrene as well. It's a lot more forgiving, and so I would probably also open up the windows rather than masking, because I think that you just get better looking windows that way. Captain Shalmang says the new was slightly modified to be easier to light compared to the old D kit, isn't it? There's absolutely no difference in the tooling. The tooling is exactly the same. It's just a different kind of plastic. Essentially, it is styrene that has no color dye in it. Can you start any of your other projects? Well, I have worked on windows on this. There's the windows. So I've started opening the windows on this just when I haven't had, like, when I've been waiting for other things to dry or whatever. Just slowly, a little bit at a time, getting to that. But I need to get the 2 big Enterprise Ds done. Then I need to get the 2 Enterprise Es done. Then I'll be going full tilt on this. And I will also be doing another one of these. So this one is for a client. It's going to be done as per the TV version, so just the 2-color paint scheme. But I'm going to do a second 1400 scale. I think I've decided on the Enterprise D. That will be done in the full 4-color scheme, lit exactly the same way as the big one. And that'll be a giveaway at Wonderfest next year. So for anybody who's subscribed to my channel and at Wonderfest, you can have your name in for a chance to win a Canadian Starships built Enterprise D 1400 scale. Yeah. So that's probably going to be it tonight, because I can't do any more, and we're creeping up on 11 o'clock here. So I am going to say that is going to be the end of the stream tonight. But what does Kenneth say here? He says, wow, I would trust you guys with my life after wiring anything. Did you see that I work on automotive assembly line as an operator that assembles the differentials for Mercedes cars? I did not see that. That is cool. Very cool. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for spending some time here, and thank you for helping me test run the new setup. I am going to be looking for things for days, I think, because it's just going to be a while before I have everything sorted. But thank you for spending some time here. If you've enjoyed the live stream, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button today. You'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew. Your producer tonight has been Keith. This is Canadian Starships. Have a great night, everybody.